Every year, the department does this thing called 24-hour theater, or not the department, the university theater club does it. And for people who don't know, it's first 12 hours are spent writing a show. The next 12 hours are spent directing the show, memorizing the lines, putting everything together, and within 24 hours, you put on the show. And so I was a freshman, and they were like, do this thing. And I was like, okay. So they have you sign up for, like, you know, prioritize your list of choices. And they put me on sound with this girl who was an upperclassman, and she actually had experience. I had never touched sound. So I'd be like her assistant, essentially. When we get to this, the start of this 24-hour theater event, and the girl who was like directing was looked at me and said, Rachel, the other person can't be here, so you're running sound by yourself. They were like, it's fine. It's going to be like a 20-minute show. You're fine. And I was like, okay. So I got my computer. I hooked up like 17 different like YouTube tabs of just sounds that I thought were funny and Careless Whisper and stuff like that, and just hooked it up to the soundboard, tried to turn it on, and went on with that. And then all of a sudden it was that, and the rest is history. This show that I designed was the first big thing I had ever done. So really all of those like soul moments were within this show. The director, John, was like, I want a heavy metal Scottish play. The assistant director was one of my roommates, and she was basically in charge of the witches the whole time. You know, their voices, and just like, I'll record them, I'll put them in an editing software and just like have them listen to kind of get an idea of how we're going to mix their acting choices with what I want to do. And she was like, yeah. And I came into one of their rehearsals after I had done it all and plugged it in to the system in the room that they were rehearsing in. And they were like, this is so cool. And theater is all about collaboration. My goal was to have the actors feel it as much, if not more, than the audience. My favorite moment, which is one of my favorite cues that I had, was just the beginning of the show. And again, this has a lot to do with the way the set was built, the way Miles did the lights. It all came together very well. The very start of the show. And it goes into this thunder, into this like crazy guitar riff, and the lights go crazy. Oh, wow. And the witches enter all like, you know, mysteriously. And it was just like everything came together for the show in general. But that moment of just the start of the show every time hit me. Being that, you know, we kind of don't have a choice right now, but to modify and you know, adapt is really, in a way, exciting, while it is kind of, you know, sad sometimes, but it's really exciting because it's like, you know, I can make theater happen anywhere as long as other people are willing to make it happen anywhere with me. Really cool. Yeah. And we're kind of learning that, like, you know, kind of what I think is, especially if you're thinking in a production team standpoint, is you're really at a point now where even after this pandemic ends, you know, you can collaborate with people all around the world. You know, a lot of the times, especially when I was in school, you know, we had production meetings in person, which I, you know, prefer. But if you wanted a lighting designer from, you know, Hong Kong, and they could come for your tech week, and you can do that because we've learned we can do so much virtually and only do the things that we have to do in person, in person. So it's really kind of, we're learning that theater can be done anywhere, but also you can bring people in from anywhere if you have the means to be able to do so. A holiday show at this is a small professional company called Best Medicine Rep. It's a company that's dedicated to comedy theater. And it's this crazy show about Santa and his wife in couples therapy. You know, in my time of not being able to do much, I just go job searching all the time. Yeah. I'm like, maybe there's something, maybe, who knows? And I applied, and he was like, you want to do an interview? And the interview was like 15 minutes, and he was like, why don't I just offer you a job? It was crazy, and it's already really cool. I'm really excited about it, and you know, being able to do anything theater related right now is a blessing.